What's up, bros? Concept soup. Back with another video. Back with Dude Bro. Today's video, we're looking at the Aerocool Trinity Mini G V2 30-pound case. We like a bit of cheap stuff now and again on the Concept Soup channel. We're going to be checking out this case. We're going to be saying this is a 30 quid case. 30 quid cases are usually pretty bad, but today could we be seeing an exception to the rule? Let's find out in the video. Let's get a build on, baby! So, cringy intro aside, of course, what are we looking at? We got a glass side panel, which is pretty nice for a case that's cheap. So you just pop that baby off, take the screws out and all that. Actually comes with a user manual, which is pretty rare, especially for a cheap case. So you got a couple of 140mm fans on the front, and then you got one on the back, which is pretty nice. Comes with 3 fans, and they do light up, as we'll be seeing later. Nice perforated PSU shroud, great idea. Helps with GPU thermals a bit, and helps with just breathability in the case. I do like that. It's got mounts for a fan if you want, but those kind of VGA fans are kind of pointless, especially on Micro ATX. You got your Micro ATX and Mini ITX support in this case. It is annoying that they don't apply those final 2 standoffs, but hey, it is what it is. Let's take off the back panel and look at the plugs that we have. So yeah, our usual sort of melange of USB cables and front panel stuff. Oh dear, we have Molex powered fans. That is not a good sign. We don't like Molex powered fans just because they always run at full speed. Otherwise, in the case, we've got all the screws obviously available there. We've got room for a smallish PSU, so don't be putting any super RM1000s in there or anything. Hard drive cage that you can fit 2 3.5 inch drives, or a 2.5 inch and a 3.5 inch on top. We've got the PCIe covers, which are fine, just snap off. We've got some USB 3 and some USB 2 on the front. Yeah, so that's a rundown of the case, just a basic overview. Looks like a Billy Basic case, but looks fine. We're going to be putting a high-end build in this today, though. So we've got the Ryzen 5 5600X with its really fast clock speed. 6 cores, 12 threads is pretty much on that sweet spot for gaming. If you do content creation, maybe you want an 8-core, but this is fine for just a pure sort of game box. Motherboard today is the B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi. It's one of my favourite B550 boards because it's got a USB-C front connector, nice VRMs that could even handle a 5900X, and it's got Wi-Fi as well. We've also got the RAM here, which is the PNY Accelerate, 16GB DDR4 3200. Our old favourite, the Western Digital SSD, just going for a 500GB in this one because we're trying to keep the cost down as low as possible. And on the machine today, we actually have the Gigabyte OC3070, but we will be changing this later because, as you see, actually it won't fit because it's too long. Power supply today, Seasonic S12 3 650 watt, super reliable and really cheap at the moment, so you shouldn't really be going any cheaper than this. So that's the rundown of the parts. We'll see you on the other side of this fast forwarded build process. Ding, 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 ding. We're back after the build and it's nice. Well, what can I say? Nice little build, nice little machine, nice little case. 30 quid case, not bad. Aerocool Trinity Mini GV2. What do we think? So we're going to split it as always into form and function, and of course with the form we're just looking, does it look pretty nice? Yeah, it actually looks pretty decent. So it's a Micro ATX case, of course, but it really is compact. Like, you couldn't really have made this case much smaller. So it's got a nice small desk footprint. It's got a glass side panel, so it's not some acrylic rubbish. It's got three, I'm not going to call them RGB fans, LED fans, aren't they? Because they can't change the colour of them. They're just always stuck in this rainbow configuration. But for 30 quid to get 240mm on the front and 120mm on the back with lighting is actually pretty sweet. Yes, alright, we'll talk about the connections on the later, perhaps not the best, but looks wise it's pretty decent. I guess you could improve it by making them at least in some way addressable and changeable, but this is 30 quid here. We're in the budget category. We're not looking for, the pinnacle of looks, are we? We just want something that looks nice and tidy. And I think it does. It looks like a nice compact unit. You haven't got all the compromises that you usually get with small cases, so I'm pretty happy with the form of this. I think it looks pretty nice. Functional. Functional is all about, can you fit the stuff in it that you want to fit in it? And it's a bit of a mixed bag. You've got to know what to expect from a case of this price. So you're not going to be having the best top-end parts, large coolers, that kind of thing in this case. Not going to happen. Water cooling? No. Don't water cool in this case. Not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. This is for budget builds or for people that want to get the most value for money out of the case. You can fit in, dual slot GPUs, no problem, because it's a Micro ATX case, of course, but you need to look at the length and make sure it's not too long. So I originally wanted to use a Gigabyte Gaming OC, which has 3 fans, didn't fit. So I had to swap in an Asus Dual OC version, which is 2 fans, and that fit in just fine. So just make sure you're checking those clearances before you go ahead and buy your graphics card, especially if it's one of these nice new ones. Other than that, really nice, fits everything. Cable routing holes are nicely placed. I guess the only addition I would make is another cable mounting hole at the front to power the graphics card, but that's fine for a cheap case not to have that. Storage space, yeah, it's okay. You got what you need. Most modern MATX boards have 2 M2 slots on them anyway. Then you can chuck a 2.5-inch SSD, and then you've got 2 more, got a little drive cage where you could put a couple of hard drives there if you wanted to. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Power supply fitted in just fine. I didn't even use a modular one. It was completely fully wired or non-modular. Fit in fine with absolutely no trouble whatsoever. Plenty of room to route your cables. You got tie down points in sensible positions. Overall, nice build experience, really quick. I really like this case. So, conclusion time. What do we think in terms of a score? Well, I'm just sort of on the top of my dome. What am I thinking? I'm thinking this is up there because of the price. I'm giving this an 8.5 because for 30 quid, you will not find me a better case than this. It's got a mesh front. It comes with 3 fans, 2 of them are 140mm. It's not too loud. It's pretty nice. For 8.5 score for this, I think is definitely justified. 30 quid, cannot argue with that value. And what you're getting is actually something that's fairly decently built. The metals are decent quality. The thing that lets it down on the fan front is that they're Molex powered, so you can't control the speed. But they're not loud. They're okay. They're just bog standard fans. This case is really good for budget builds. If you're building a budget PC, 100% this is going to get my recommendation because Micro ATX boards are cheap, so you might as well use them anyway. My top tip when buying a Micro ATX motherboard for a Micro ATX case is that you want to get a motherboard with the PCIe slots right up high. So you don't want one where you've got a little 1X and then the long slot, because then you're going to choke your graphics card out in the case. You want to make sure that long slot, the 16X slot, is at the top of the 4 possible slots. With that said, I've been Concept Soup. What do you think of this case? Hopefully we'll see you again next time. Dude bro out.